starters. He's climbing up now. So the starter about to climb the steps, and the field about to be called in then for this GalliardHomes.com Cleeve Hurdle. And they are off and racing. And Knockara Beau it is, who is the one that leads early on. Rev de Cibola keeping his powder a little drier than is often the case as they head towards the first. Knockara Beau is over well, as is Big Bucks, who settled in third place on the back of Courts de Taille. 3 lengths to Rev de Cibola, who shows in fourth place, and already a gap to at Fisher's Cross and Boston Bob at the rear of the field. Knockara Beau on towards the second, leading by a good 6 lengths from Courts de Taille. Big Bucks is in third with Rev de Cibola. The pace is a very generous one. Big Bucks put himself right over that. At Fisher's Cross, just a little ponderous in rear, out jumped by Boston Bob. They are 5th and 6th in the early jousts, as towards the third, Knockara Beau it is who leads over it. From in second, Courts de Taille with Big Bucks, 5 to 6 back to Rev de Cibola, and a similar break back to the back pair, which are at Fisher's Cross and also at the rear of the field of Boston Bob. So they turn at the far end and head on towards the fourth. Front 3 have a healthy advantage over the rear 3 at this stage. 2 outsiders and Big Bucks. 3 of the other big guns being ridden with more restraint at the moment. So Knockara Beau over the fourth from Courts de Taille. Big Bucks over in third. Rev de Cibola's 8 lengths away, with 3 lengths back to the rear 2, Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross. So they turn downhill. Knockara Beau being headed by Courts de Taille up on the outside, who becomes second new leader. Big Bucks racing in third place. 8 to 10 lengths back to Rev de Cibola, ridden more patiently in fourth place, and a gap then to at Fisher's Cross and Boston Bob as they make the turn downhill for the first time. 2 outsiders, Courts de Taille and Knockara Beau. Big Bucks in third place, gap to Rev de Cibola, Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross at the rear of the field. So they run downhill towards flight number 4. Courts de Taille in the yellow colours on the outside of Knockara Beau. Big Bucks flicks over it in third place. Again at Fisher's Cross, just a little awkward at the rear of the field. It hasn't lost too much ground, but a couple of leaps landing a little bit on all fours. Rev de Cibola's in fourth place. Boston Bob travels okay in fifth. So Courts de Taille leading the turn back towards home. From in second place, Knockara Beau, who's in fact right back alongside now as they take slightly different routes up the home straight. Knockara Beau's shorter route regains him the lead. Courts de Taille in second place, Big Bucks in third, Rev de Cibola, Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross, 4th, 5th and 6th early on. So Courts de Taille leading Knockara Beau. Big Bucks in third place, Rev de Cibola still 6 lengths away as they step over the next flight of hurdles, Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross. So the pot really yet to be brought to the boil. Sense of what's to come here as Courts de Taille scurries up on the outside again of Knockara Beau. Big Bucks in third place. Rev de Cibola 5 lengths away in fourth. Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross still held up. So they've got a circuit under their belts. The lead has interchanged through that circuit between Knockara Beau and Courts de Taille. Big Bucks has never been too far away from the front pair. Rev de Cibola is still about 5 lengths down in fourth place, but is just edging a little closer. Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross still at the rear of the field. The next 3 flights come pretty swiftly. Courts de Taille was into the bottom of it. They're over safely from Knockara Beau. Big Bucks, Rev de Cibola 5 lengths away. Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross beginning to close up slightly. Middle one of the trio down the side. Courts de Taille and Knockara Beau. Big Bucks are a length in their wake. 4 lengths back to Rev de Cibola, then Boston Bob and at Fisher's Cross. Next flight of hurdles, Courts de Taille. Knockara Beau, good leap by Big Bucks there, carries him alongside Knockara Beau. Rev de Cibola 4 lengths away. Boston Bob still travels okay, and at Fisher's Cross, who's taken the last couple of flights more fluently, as again Courts de Taille leads. Big Bucks over in second place. In third is Knockara Beau. Rev de Cibola just chivied along slightly in fourth, and Big Bucks moves up to press Courts de Taille. Well, lots been written about how Big Bucks will be ridden. One can't fault Sam Twiston-Davies in terms of his confidence, because he's moved the horse up a long way from home on the inside of Courts de Taille, and these two still show about 4 lengths or so away as they step over the next flight of hurdles, which will be 3 from the finish. Big Bucks and Courts de Taille are over in front. There's still 3 to 4 lengths clear from amassing in behind Rev de Cibola. Boston Bob edges closer, then at Fisher's Cross, and the riders having a look, those 3 to each other, and seeing Knockara Beau has dropped towards the tail. Big Bucks leads Courts to Tie. Still a break of 6 lengths back to Rev de Civilla at Fisher's Cross, and also Boston Bob as they turn downhill. Big Bucks set sail for home, has seen off Courts to Tie. Can any of the other 3 rivals, Rev de Civilla at Fisher's Cross and Boston Bob, get close enough to this champion to launch a challenge? So they're preparing to run down to the second last. Big Bucks still out in front from Courts to Tie. Then Rev de Civilla at Fisher's Cross still travels okay. Then Boston Bob. This is 2 from the finish. Out in front, Big Bucks stretches over it. Rev de Civilla, Boston Bob, and at Fisher's Cross with Courts to Tie. Sam Twiston-Davies takes a look to see how close they're getting, and Big Bucks still out in front from Courts to Tie. At Fisher's Cross, Boston Bob, Rev de Civilla and Knockara Beau. A chasing wave of 5 behind the champion. Can Big Bucks see it out to the line? Knockara Beau and Rev de Civilla are the 2 closest pursuers. All of a sudden, at Fisher's Cross is pushed along, then Boston Bob. This is the moment for Big Bucks, the moment of truth. He leads by 3 lengths from Rev de Civilla. Knockara Beau then at Fisher's Cross as they run down towards the last. Big Bucks been out in front a long time. Knockara Beau in second, then at Fisher's Cross, and Rev de Civilla the final flight. A good leap by Big Bucks. Knockara Beau, a massive surprise on the outside, running well. Big Bucks forced now to dig in. Will his fitness last out at Fisher's Cross, and Knockara Beau are coming at him. Big Bucks is beginning to paddle, digging in as Knockara Beau forces ahead in front from out Fisher's Cross. Knockara Beau will land a huge shot in the Cleeve. Knockara Beau, I think, has seen off at Fisher's Cross. His rider punches the air. His first success after so many runs at Cheltenham in a big one. Big Bucks went down fighting in third. Rev de Civilla next from behind these Courts.